All right, live images of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi shaking hands with the Chinese President Xi Jinping right there. Those are live images coming in from Tianjin, where the SCO Summit is on its way. It's the first day. A number of leaders have arrived. Some of them are on their way. The Prime Minister earlier on held a bilateral conversation with President Xi Jinping. A number of things were spoken of. A press release to the same effect was also put out by both the nations, and that is the Turkish leader, Mr. Erdogan, who's just arrived, shaking hands with the Chinese president, who's flanked by his wife in Tianjin, the port city of Tianjin. All right, well, the ministry's statement is also out, and it went on to say that there was a bilateral meeting with Myanmar's senior general, Min Aung Hlaing. The Prime Minister expressed hope that the forthcoming elections in Myanmar will be fair and inclusive. I beg your pardon. He underlined that India supports a Myanmar-led and Myanmar-owned peace process, for which peaceful dialogue and consultation is the only way forward. Mithali Nikore, economist, with us on the platform as well. Mithali, we spoke earlier. That is a group photo, and we're getting live images. The Prime Minister right there in white. Mithali, we did talk about the economical impact the world is facing at this point in time, grappling with rather. Of course, 190 odd countries do business with China. The scale at which they produce, the scale at which they dump also is mammoth. That also tends to create problems for economies. Do these tariffs have the propensity to slow that dumping down for China? And is there an opportunity for India there? Just curious to know that.
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, this is a very interesting perspective. But I think at this point in time, there's also a difference in which the way the Chinese are approaching this turmoil, in a sense that the US has caused, almost like an opportunity to come in and interact and, enmesh themselves much more closely within the, value chains of a number of countries. So again, China is not looking at this very clearly, in my view, as a trade opportunity, but as an opportunity for them to come in, deepen their investments in a number of countries, deepen their engagements, and win trust and win friends. I mean, this is the best time. If you were a Chinese diplomat, this would be the golden period of your career, because you have the opportunity to interact with so many new countries who are feeling like they are being slighted by the US president directly, not only by the administration. And it's a time when you can open many doors for your country. So this is exactly what the SCO Summit this year, in some senses, stands for China to come and say, we stand and we are the leaders of a world of free trade, and we stand open for many countries to come and join us. And I think India and Russia that way, and even Brazil for that matter, all the BRICS countries really standing shoulder to shoulder, saying that they now represent a completely new world order, in that sense of rules based trade, which may have been established by the West a few decades ago, but is currently being upheld by the BRICS members and actually being abused by Western countries. I mean, again, as we said, earlier on in the broadcast, the fact that European and UK based buyers are pushing Indian textile suppliers into a corner because they know about the inventory buildups that are happening because of the fact that US, exports destined for the US are piling up, just shows that this is all about opportunism. There's no respect for the rules based trading order. So therefore it's very critical for India to go engage with new markets, look at the SEO as Dr. Jayajit also said, exactly like an opportunity to do business in a multipolar world, not necessarily aligning with one country or the other, but really just looking out for its own interests.
You're absolutely right about that. It is about seeking out your own interest. But the fact of the matter is that this is an SCO, or this is a summit which is happening on the backdrop where it's the interest of America that is at the forefront of all the topics of conversation. So breaking news coming in, Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif has addressed the faculty and students of Tianjin University, where he also visited the National Facility for Earthquake Engineering Simulation. He also met with Turkish President, who is in China for the 25th meeting of the Council of Heads of States of the SCO. Prime Minister Sharif will also attend China's upcoming V-Day military parade is what we are being told here as well. Manan, coming to you now. The SCO, of course, raking up a lot of headlines all over the world as well. Internationally, it's being talked about as a congregation of alternatives to the challenge that America has put out. Do you think so, that it could be an alternative?
I personally feel that a lot of water has flown under the bridge, and we all have seen that apart from the kind of camaraderie and the bonhomie kind of a thing which is eschewed, which is coming out, which is manifesting itself from Tianjin, we all give our best of support to our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But I personally feel that with the kind of antecedents which have been there between India and China, so we can extend a glove, and one should look into it that, as you also somebody told me about it, that there was not a hug, but there was a kind of a iron-clad glove which was offered by our Prime Minister to. What I personally feel is that we have.
All right, there seems to be a problem with your connection, Manan. I'm going to come back to you momentarily. We're replaying the images where the Prime Minister, of course, posing for that group photograph. Here he is walking towards the center of the stage to greet President Xi Jinping. Manan, we had lost you there. I hope we can hear you now. Go on.
Where? Pardon?
We couldn't hear you, Manan. Can you please repeat yourself?
I personally feel that the talk of the new world order might be too early to be looked into, because what we can see is that a lot of antecedents are always there between India and China, and the kind of iron-clad glove which was extended by our Honorable Prime Minister to Xi Jinping shows that there was a want of a hug. There was no embrace between the two political leaders and head of states. Instead, there was a glove. Instead, there was a handshake. No embrace. This is one part of the protocol. This is part of the histrionics and just the photo op. Still, I personally feel that the chances of a new world order coming to the fore is still very, very much remote, because as far as the Raisina Hill is concerned, our Prime Minister and Jaishankar Sahab, they have made it repeatedly clear that India will not become part and parcel of the de-dollarization barricading of the BRICS or the SCO group of countries. And when the talk was rife in the international arena about replacement of the dollar by a BRICS currency, then at that particular point of time, India was very reluctant. He was publicly reluctant, and we were very much taciturn. And we did not support the most of the BRICS countries. I'm not talking about the official support, but I'm talking about even the verbal statements did not come out of us. But still, I personally hope that there was a precondition which Modi ji had initiated immediately after the Galwan incident in 2020, and a large number of talks were held. The military DGMOs, or whatever you call them, the militaries, the diplomats, they came together. But at that point of time, India had a cachet. India had a catch. India said, Modi ji said, the Raisina Hill said that first of all, the boundary disagreement should be talked about. What all has gone wrong since the debate about the historicity of the McMahon line, the Ardag line, or the Johnson line, since the last 30, 40 years, that should be brought to the table. Because if we are realists, if we look at the real condition in Ladakh or in Nepal, or in Aksai Chin, what we are going to find is that the kind of chicanery, the kind of diabolical nature of Chinese intrusions, they make life very uncertain. They make diplomacy uncertain, and the Indian soldiers have lost their lives. We cannot forget incidents like Galwan, the Daulat Beg Oldie, Sumdorong Chu, and Demchok. So I'm not saying we should be aggressive, but I think definitely a very positive step has been taken in by Raisina Hill and Beijing, wherein both the countries can look for a thaw. They can look for a talk. They can look for some convergences to develop. And as I was talking about it somewhere, the issue of Mansarovar being open for the Indians, and as the Prime Minister has declared that direct flights will soon be initiated, will be restarted between both the countries. I think that should be looked at as a positive development wherein we can build on, wherein Raisina Hill can build on with Beijing, but with the Pakistani part coming in, and apart from that, India should not leave the idea of giving a declaration, spawning a declaration against cross-border terrorism and GWOT. That is the Global War on Terror. Rajnath Singh ji went to the Samarkand conclave, and Ajit Doval ji also was doing his part of diplomacy. So there, India did not succeed in completely castigating Pakistan as far as its inception and aiding and abetting of cross-border terror is concerned. So I personally feel that unless and until China and India can work together, crossing the ironclad relationship with Pakistan, which China shares, and the all-weather cap with which Beijing keeps on giving repeatedly to Pakistan, and something nice has to come out, something concrete and constructive needs to come out as far as a declaration to counter cross-border terror is concerned. So these are going to be the concerns which were on the table. And apart from that, as far as the Myanmar part you were talking about earlier on, I think their connectivity
No, that's not a